What up, mother? We're back. And I just probably got to bleep out like the first thing I said, but I don't care because it's been a while and we got all kinds of stuff for you guys because we had, I guess we're going to call it scheduling issues, and where Picture didn't happen, we make it happen. Fucking, he's here, but I can't point to him because he's not even here. Where you at, man?
I am actually not in the Yeti Cave this week. I am broadcasting from the homie Lady Zool's house.
It's in a top secret location. No, you can't know where it is.
No, the fuck you can't know where it is. If you don't know already, I am the Jew bag. This is Pics or It Didn't Happen. As he said, we had some scheduling conflicts. You know, it is always like hashtag something like a professional up in this motherfucker. But we are joined this week by an amazing guest, one of the heavier hitters in the underground right now. This is King motherfucking Torch. You want to introduce yourself, bro?
I'm not as interesting as you'll make me out to be, but I do my best. I like the intro. I am heavy, you know.
Yeah, same. We are definitely fat kids in this bitch.
That post baby weight, you know. My wife had the kids, and I just never lost the weight.
So it was sympathy weight, and you just kept it, right?
Yeah, I mean, 4 kids later, plus COVID. I mean, it's beautiful.
Well, first of all, congratulations to be able to do the family shit and the rapper shit. That takes so much skill.
Yeah, it's a weird balance because I have to pick my kids up at school, and the teachers are like, "Why does this dad have face tattoos and all this crap on his arms?" And I'm like, "Bourbon now."
I have actually threatened to pick my child up wearing these lovely masks in the back. Like, I was like, I'll pick you up from your girlfriend's house if you don't shut up and wash them dishes.
You got to do it in the mask, man, because that'll definitely freak somebody out.
Oh yeah.
with a cocaine straw hanging out of your nostril.
Yeah.
Well, then I'm just going to jail.
I didn't say there had to be blow on the straw. You just had to have the straw. It's a prop.
No, you got to have a bunch of like quasi wet like tissues around the car too. So like, what the hell was this guy doing on his way here?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So before we actually get into what we were coming here to talk about, which is you and your career, I don't actually have a whole lot of personal experience hanging out with you, but there has been 2 instances where we have been in the same place and shared a situation. Nasty Bash 4, you played that. I was there for that. I ate so much acid that I just moshed with everything that moved.
And that didn't too.
And it didn't because I made it move. And then there was the Church of Zool in story. You were actually behind me, and Shape and Toby were in front of me.
Yep. And then Dead Body Man was behind me.
Yeah. God, what a fucking event. So I just wanted to throw that out because I love when I actually have personal experiences with guests that are on the show, because it makes things just a bit more, you know, like, oh, I kind of do know that dude. So
well, yeah, and it's awesome now that we can get back to shows, because I mean, we haven't seen anybody, and I'd love to see some of these people that we haven't seen in like what, a year.
Oh, I've got so many show homies I cannot wait to match up with and dap up with and shit. Actually, when we just actually seen Mad Max and Nasty and a few other homies at Carl's last weekend, that was, oh bro, that was methadone for a fucking show addiction. I was fiending.
It's been nice. We've been able to get, you know, some of the closer local homies. We've been able to get out to some smaller shows, but you know, it's gonna be really great here coming up. We're gonna get to see all the out of town homies because we're taking that big trip up to Michigan.
Oh, we are going to Astronomicon. I cannot fucking wait. And before anybody starts to make any arguments, anybody in the comment section, you can all suck my dick first and foremost. Just want to get that right out of the way. But I get what everyone's argument is and why everybody are picking or choosing or whatever, but I have 2 words, 3 technically, that sum up everything about how I feel about this. Mick fucking Foley. None of you top that. None of you can top that. None of you will top that. So that's just kind of how it's playing out for me.
I mean, I spent a lot of money in like what, March? Like money spent, bro. It is what it is.
I mean, it's said about timing too. Astronomicon ready to roll, and then I understand on both sides, man. For Psy, it's like you're a promoter, you can only work with such constraints, and they're like, fuck it, that weekend works for us, we got to do it there.
Yep, it all kind of happened the way it did, and I'm not going to accuse anybody of being petty or whatever. It just kind of all played out the way it did. And Juggalos are making their choice. And honestly, this is the last part I'm going to talk about this. People who are going to Astronomicon all say the same thing. I hope you have a good time. Everybody going to the gathering has said the same thing. Fuck you and eat a dick.
Well, yeah.
So enough of the preview of the Juggalo world right now. So how did you get into this scene there, King Torch? Like what brought you into the horrorcore / wicked shit rap?
Oh God, that's a hard one to trace back, man. It's a mixture of like old Seventh Seal, old Third Shift. I mean, even the original SKR people. I mean, back in like 2001, it was all battle rap. Horrorcore hadn't really developed its own sub scene. And then as I started meeting people, I was like, I like these people way more than I like those people. You know, these people are rapping about cars and bitches and guns.
I don't have none of that.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I've got a fucking 84 Buick LeSabre. The hell am I going to do with that? Check out my $300 car, guys. And the used wheels I bought at Discount Tire. But a lot back then, I mean, it wasn't as hardcore as it is today because you've got great storytellers like Diabolic, Mad Max. I mean, the Fun Time guys, when they get way out there with some of that, it's just more relatable. I can listen to it and I can be like, I felt that way.
Well, it's something I've always said, that this music is therapy. You're right. I've felt that way before. But you mentioned Max and you mentioned Fun Time, and I'll mention you and a few other guys. There's a movement of real lyricism in horrorcore that's kind of like it's showing its head again. But it was, you know, like you were talking about Mission Effect. You're talking about Ala Zulu, talking about you. We're talking about these people who can do more than just splatter blood on the walls and rhyme head and dead.
Yeah.
We have a big philosophy on this side. If you can't rap, you shouldn't.
That is one that's not followed nearly enough.
No, it's not. And we are trying to spearhead a movement. If you suck, please stop. If you were hearing this and you suck, you should know that you suck and you should stop.
I mean, we've had a couple people on the label that we cut because their recordings were great. They came in the studio and just didn't have their shit together. And it's like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, an engineer cannot make you a good live artist.
No, and that's something that it's really a lost art, is the performance side of this shit that we're all about, all of us that are involved in this scene. And I've talked to a few guys recently that are talking about how they're trying to bring that back. Guys like SON and Cody Manson and a few other cats have said they want to try to really bring the theatrics back to this shit. And you know what? Fuck it, I'm for it. You know, you're in the right headspace. A show like that will make the music that much fucking bigger. You know that, and that's kind of like what we all do with this.
Well, and another one, like if you remember from Nasty Bash, that was Nasty Bash 4.
I do believe the number was 4. Yes. Optimus
has one of my favorite performances ever. He comes out to the Triple H music,
spitting water and shit. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome, dude. I love Cody. He's one of my favorite people on the planet. I mean, he was in my wedding, for Christ's sake, but I had never seen a performance on Nasty Bash. The man's a killer.
There are so many people right now that are not getting their due, because I mean, a lot of people think, unfortunately, they only think that there are really only 2 camps involved in this shit. And the thing is the deeper you dig, the more you will find that there are some quality fucking musicians in this scene, and they're all spread out across the country.
And I'm going to interject right with what you were just saying there. I think that the reason that people believe there are only these 2 camps, maybe 3, depending on who you're asking and all of that, because what you said was, if you dig, the common person doesn't want to dig.
This is true.
And that's why you, as an artist, it is very important that brand, who you are, is a big thing. You have to focus on that. You have to put it out there. You have to put yourself out there, because they're not going to put in the work to find you. You got to put the work in to get to them. And not a lot of people want to do that. See, even the smallest labels, you know, you gotta really work, get your stuff out there to get people to see you. It's not about selling out because you posted on your Facebook. Like, no, you're promoting yourself.
Well, that's a stupid mentality, because there's no such thing as bad publicity.
I don't know, man. People be canceling entire careers nowadays.
Yeah, but give them about a month and they usually come back, especially if it was like Eminem.
Oh yeah, but I'm talking about like, one of the local cats, like, you need to get yourself out there, but don't get stupid because they'll shut you down. And hell, if you say the wrong thing, we shut somebody down a few months ago, man. Not us personally, but the community as a whole said, nope, none of that.
But that dude was a fake and he was buying views.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Don't do that. But
wait, are we talking about all of a sudden here?
Oh, what was that? I couldn't hear that one.
Are we talking about that Raw D douchebag?
No, we're not talking about him, but he is definitely a douchebag. We as a whole, we worked with him once or twice because we got fooled like a couple other people. But there's something else, man. There's a lot of pretenders. There's a lot of people who try to use our scene as a way to further their career. And the thing is they don't belong here. And you mention him, and there are others like him that just, and you can smell it. It's not to be mean, but you can smell shit a mile away when it really starts to stink.
Oh, I know. You should walk by Jay Urja once. It stinks.
That's something else. We want to get any female MCs on here listening. We want to talk to more female MCs so fucking much because there are too many bitches like her that you just mentioned that are dragging all of you through the bad name. You know, there are names like HB the Grizzly and Mandy Rose and Razakel. There are really talented women in this scene. And then there's, that stinking turd you mentioned.
Dude, she got booed off stage at the Twisted date out here. She went on after, I don't remember who the opening act was, and started screaming at the sound guy, and people started throwing shit at her on stage, and her getting off stage was one of the best parts of that show.
Wow. Usually the crowd will support the anti-sound guy movement. So that's a feat.
It was beautiful. I mean, I was sitting at the bar with class having a beer, and they just turned on her. It was wonderful. I didn't know the kind of person she was at that point, but I found out in the coming weeks because, I mean, Nasty and Mrs. Nasty fucking absolutely dunked on that woman. It was beautiful.
It does tend to happen. If you run your mouth to the wrong people, you'll get turned into a meme real quick.
Oh, yeah. And
they were like their memes.
They were some straightforward memes, too. I mean, that's one sketchy-ass woman.
Yep.
She makes my ex-wife look like a saint, and she's psychotic.
So, you said how did you kind of like decide that you were going to be a solo artist? Did you have like a group that you worked with in the beginning? Because like it seems like a lot of cats start off with a group and then they pretty much just shed them because nobody wants to work.
I was part of a 4-piece called FBMC under my original name, Believe. We went to high school together. We recorded together on one of those shitty little plug-in mics with the beat playing in the background. And I was just like, guys, we need to elevate this. And they were like, yeah, but we don't need to. And I was like, all right, fuck it. So I went and got myself an MXL 990, an old Yamaha MG 10-2 mixer, and just started going from there. And it's easy.
Well, it's easy's not the right thing. What I tell people is you just have to do it, whether it's difficult or not. You have to push through, because nothing good comes without some kind of work. And I don't care if you're writing music or you're fucking hosting a stupid fucking show or whatever. It takes more than just saying I think I'd like to do this.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to be able to put the time aside. And I mean, I've got 4 kids, but luckily we built our own studio last summer. So I drive 10 minutes up the street and I've got everything at my disposal. One of my engineers will be there and it's super easy. And my wife's not going to be like, how dare you go work on music? Because she loves it too.
I mean, good on you for finding your passion project too. Because like to work, to actually make money in this it's a goddamn feat at this point.
It sucks. I mean, a lot of people out there charge for collabs. Like I don't right now because, I mean, financially, the whole underground is pretty strapped. I mean, there's people who deserve to be paid for collabs. I don't think I'm one of them right now because I was out of the game for 10 years and I came back like, oh, hi, guys, I'm still here.
That's kind of how he and I are. We both kind of like, he joined the military, so he fell out of the scene. And I decided that I hated most juggalos really quickly at one point. At a certain point, like, and it's not an indoctrination of the entire scene, but when you're only surrounded by scummalos and druggalos, it tends to make you not want to be around people. So yeah, I fell out. He fell out. It's That's the thing, though. Is a lot of old school cats are coming back to quote unquote fix this, I guess.
Well, I'm glad to see a lot of them are like when Bad Luck finally released another collab with Dubs, the Clean Ass Butthole track. I was like glad to see Bad Luck back doing something as Bad Luck. You know, the Biokillers are coming back. They just released 2.0. That track is bomb. Low key.
I actually just seen Biokillers last weekend. Still killing it.
Absolutely, dude. They were the first act I saw kind of coming back in at Headfest 2018, I think. Because the Nasties were like, you need to fucking come out here and get back immersed in the scene. And they brought out fucking Klep in a body bag. It was awesome. I mean, that goes to the theatrics too, man. Saint and Klep have wonderful chemistry on stage.
Absolutely. And I mean, your live performance is also dope. You bring a lot of big man energy to the performance. You know what I mean?
I like to think I stole some of that from watching a lot of McNasty footage. Because, you know, I'm 325 on a normal day. I mean, I like to take up some stage room, but I also like to work with people who are cool with that. Like when me and HB Grizzly did our streaming show, and we did our Alpha Click track, she fucking took that whole room over like it was nothing. It was like majestic to see.
Oh, Holly's a fucking beast. I got introduced to her actually at there was an Insane Poetry show that was supposed to be at Carl's and they got canceled, so it ended up just being a Cody Manson show, and she was one of the people who was on the opening part, and dude, that chick's got fucking pipes. Blew me away. I
mean, we were doing our Halloween Fright Fest, which Cheap came in 5th for the Replicon radio event last year, but she was in a soundproof room. The Hooligans were up front. We had a couple other people there recording because we didn't want to do it all live because the editing is a nightmare. And as soon as she hit her first note, about 30.
So you are a man who wears many hats, and I've talked to a lot of artists that are kind of in that mode right now. We're like, you are doing most of all of this by yourself. You said you had just built a new studio. Like, do you feel like that gives you an edge over a lot of guys right now who can only just write music?
Not necessarily, because I have 2 different guys who I use as engineers, or all use Bad Mind, Donnie Menace. It was nice to be able to put the investment in simply because it saves me the time of trying to do the recording at home and finding space for it. That is definitely an advantage. But I'd say the biggest advantage I have is my willingness to ask people like Saint Sinna, who are audiophiles, for their take on what kind of equipment I should be using.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like asking for advice. I have no hesitation about it.
See, and I'm glad you actually said that. That is something that I wish more people would do, because it takes, I guess it takes a whole village, but you know,
well, you're right.
Work together.
You're right, and it's good to see people who are willing to do that, because at one point it was kind of like, well, I have that knowledge, and the only way you can have it is if you pay me for it. People are really trying to grow this community of artists and talent.
There's people who are resistant to it. One of my engineers, Robbie, I love him to death, wants to have everything his way, and I'll be like, bro, ask Saint. I don't need to ask Saint. And then like 10 minutes later, you're like, all right, I'm fucking asking Saint.
But if you genuinely don't know, ask somebody who does.
Exactly. I mean, it's the fastest way to learn. You don't need to go search Google for 45 minutes if you can ask one person who has a direct answer for you in 5 minutes. That and Google sucks.
Yeah.
Right. And plus, you know, you're going to get, you know, their take on it. You're going to get some different ideas, and it's conducive for everybody to share the knowledge, help each other out, because down the road, they're going to be like, oh yeah, well, check this out. If you do this, and it's going to allow you to create things that you may have never created. So hopefully that's a trend going forward, instead of this hyper competitiveness that seems to be within this scene.
Well, that's kind of the kick we've found ourselves on. We're playing by the rules of if we only have colleagues, we don't have competition.
Absolutely. Now, I'm not saying don't get paid. Like, there is things to consider. Like, you know, if somebody wants you to come do a, you know, come to a show, you know, like, well, man, $20 it gets me gas, you know, but don't expect like, yeah, I'll show up. I'm going to need like $2,000, and I'm going to need some of that fancy bottled water too.
Unless you're fucking worth that.
Well, I mean, if you're worth that, And if you are, call us because we need your help.
What about the big bowl of only yellow Skittles? It's got to be.
So,
I could be down with that.
So much work.
I do like those grape ones though.
The grape ones are bomb.
Here we are talking about Skittles.
Well, that's kind of what we do on this show. There really is no point to it. We just kind of like talk.
I tried to make rhyme and reason, but it's too hard.
Not here. If you want a rhyme and reason show, we'll try that later. But this is not the place.
You won't find it here, folks.
So, what do you think makes you stand out from the average horrorcore artist?
I like to think it's that I'll blend in lyricism, but something actually I got a lot of shit for. Me and my son have our duo Stasis X. As soon as we released the flyer and it had Axe, Blaze, G-Moski, people were like, oh, cool. And then they saw Chris Webby and Royce. They're like, you're a fucking sellout. I was like, no, I'm a businessman.
No, exactly. Know the shit that's going to work.
Yeah. And I mean, if you can get those names, why the fuck wouldn't you? I mean, they're both great artists.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I love nerd rap. I love nerd rap too. That's what hooked me with Webby, the nerd
wonderful
rap.
Like first Halo rap started coming out with people using machinima, and I thought that was awesome.
That's so cool. There's so many fucking sub genres of hip hop, nerd rap, horrorcore, this, that. It's hip hop is such a fucking huge thing when you really think about it, and it's just like it's so encompassing, and there's so many different versions of it. I don't like when anybody says that that's not hip hop. I was like, well, is somebody rhyming over a beat? It's fucking hip hop, bro. Don't take it personally, but that's kind of how it works.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there should be anybody trying to pinpoint what is and what isn't hip hop. Like, fucking most of the bands that you hear now incorporate some sort of hip hop. Like, I Prevail does a lot of hip hop ish stuff. I hate to say the name out loud, but Five Finger Death Punch does a little rhyme.
I mean, I think a lot of that really started with nu metal. They started to sort of make that more popular and mainstream, and I mean, things evolve, and that's why we now have all these great things.
I didn't find out until recently that weird breakdown in Freak on a Leash by Korn is Jonathan Davis beatboxing.
I always thought that was like scatting, but I guess beatboxing would make more sense, wouldn't it?
I read that and I was like, is that what that's supposed to be? Because I just thought it was him like muttering a bunch of weird shit.
I think that's what most of us thought, though, because I for sure thought he was just making noises.
I cannot hear it now. Like I don't hear any rhythm to it, and I'm just like, okay. So he had a seizure in the studio, decided it was a keeper.
Right, that was the way to go.
Like, hey, that fits right here. Let's just slam it in there. Let people try to memorize this part and fuck with them for the next 10 years.
Well, I mean, I can't remember the song, but it's a Slipknot song that Corey Taylor screams so hard that you hear him vomit at the end of it.
Sexy, won't lie.
Yeah.
You know, that's actually.
Hold on, shut up. Speaking of Slipknot, rest in peace, Joey Jordison. That was a punch right in my fucking heart.
Yeah, that was unexpected. Very just wow.
And yet here is Betty White still, and I don't understand it.
Yes,
I'm almost convinced it's some kind of Faustian bargain. She'll outlive us all.
She just goes around putting hexes on other famous people. Like, nah, fuck this guy next.
I'm still here.
How old?
So,
like 140 by now.
She's in her actual goddamn 90s. Like that's unavoidable. But how cool is that? You mentioned the Stasis X project. How cool is that to work with your son? I only know one other guy who actually gets to legitimately rap with his kid.
Oh, Sniper?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. It could be a pain in the ass because we'll be sitting there working on an idea, and like in the meantime, he's in the background playing fucking Xbox, and I'm like, hey guy, focus over here. It works out really well because we listen to all the same kind of music. He went through his weird little mumble rap phase for a while and was writing like a bunch of lines that were like blicky, sticky, dicky, fuck me, call me sickly. It was horrible.
Yeah, but that's awesome.
What are you talking about? That's a banger.
Since your family, you can definitely criticize the fuck out of each other.
Oh, that's what we do too. I mean, hell, we play Rainbow Six Siege for like 4 hours a night on the weekends, and he'll tell me afterwards how trash I am. And then I'm like, well, guess who's not buying you dinner tomorrow, asshole? Not really well in my favor. But it's fun. It can be trying, but we have fun on stage too. We sadly had to cancel a show last week in Indiana because my ex-wife cluster fucked up the whole. But he was like, you know what, fuck it. And now our new project that we're working on now, I'm sitting in a wrestling ring. We're starting a wrestling company too. That our first show will be October 16th. So we stay really busy here. We get bored of dumb shit.
That's fucking awesome. I eventually would like to find a way to break into the business, but I want to be an announcer. Like I feel like I could definitely add the right kind of spice to the announce table.
I feel like a lot of independent wrestling shows, like Damian Quinn was doing play-by-play for Wicked fucking Wrestling up in Lake Geneva, and he was actually really damn good at it. Last couple shows he hasn't been there, but Rick Dog from Force 5 fills in, and I mean,
fuck Rick Dog.
Yeah, fuck him. He's a big old.
We love you, bro.
He might turn into one of our commentators too, which would be fucking dope. Because I've known Rick for like damn near 20 years. I had hair when I met him, and he didn't have a beard, so that says a lot.
That definitely says a lot.
But COVID just made us start buying stupid shit.
I think everybody did.
Yep.
Yeah, like I've got like the masks behind you. I've got the red 8 legs prototype mask that I'm eventually going to wear into an actual wrestling match and let Day beat the shit out of me. So it'll be great.
I think first was all the bread machines were purchased and all the baking goods, and then we got really crazy with it.
It got out of hand.
Way too fast. Wish, sure, send me this $18 MP3 car multiplayer transmitter transforming whatever the fuck with its 25 million names.
And your butter maker.
Well, you know what? That was necessary so I can make some of the most delicious Italian dinners you've ever made from a white guy.
Sure. That's what you bought that for.
Hell yeah. I love food.
Well, winding back to the wrestling, you were talking about you're about to start your own promotion.
Yeah, it's called AHW All Heel Wrestling. First show is October 16th. We got 12 or 13 of the best indie wrestlers we could find out here. Used a lot of the guys from WF&W. We got 5 title belts made in Pakistan. Thank you guys overseas for being so cheap.
There's a lesson for you, kids. American made, it doesn't always mean best.
Exactly. I mean, I could pay 5 times as much and have one made by somebody around the corner, or I can steal other companies' designs like we did and have them modify them for our use.
Right.
Stole the big gold belt, stole the AEW belt. It's beautiful.
At least you're admitting it. And at this point, not to say that there is no such thing as originality, but everybody borrows from everybody.
Yeah, I mean, there's and I think there's something to be given as far as like gratitude and what they say, impersonation's the purest form of flattery. I like to think theft of a little bit of intellectual property is a form of flattery too.
Yeah. So who's actually going to be, hold on. For all of you who don't know the words I'm about to use, you might not understand them. I may explain them, I may not. Who's actually going to be booking this? Is this going to be like a you and your people's thing, or like?
It's almost entirely me and my son.
Nice. Every wrestling fan fucking armchair books. It's cool to hear that you're actually doing it.
That's kind of what came about from it too. Like I would lay there on nights I couldn't sleep. I'd be like, damn, what the fuck would happen if Brock Lesnar was in a cage match with Rey Mysterio and he had a weapon? And I was like, given that man could use Rey Mysterio as a weapon, but
I mean, it's been done before. People like to swing Rey like a weapon. Random wrestling news: WWE has released Bray Wyatt.
I know, what the fuck? What a horrible idea.
What a horrible fucking idea. I'm convinced that Vince is literally trying to either kill his company or sell his company. It's one or the other. I can't make heads or tails.
He made a statement last week during their conference call talking about AEW and, they've got a good crop of talent. Maybe we can give them more. And then he cut Bray Wyatt. I mean, they've already got Daniel Bryan popping up over there in September.
And CM fucking Punk. Like, I know it's all just purely speculation, but you can't talk this hard about something and then now not do it.
I mean, there's a reason I've got tickets to the Rampage they're doing out here as the first dance, and I've got tickets to All Out. I am not missing CM Punk pop up if he does.
I'm only going to say this. I'm only going to say this because I have to. Do you think or hope that his failed stints in MMA does not bring down a return or fuck up with the believability of him, I guess?
I don't think it will. I used to be in MMA too. I managed fighters for a long time. And a lot of the fighters who weren't Shayna Baszler's MMA career was a fucking laughing stock.
You're absolutely right.
I mean, Matt Riddle sucked at MMA and he's whatever the fuck he is. He's a great entertainer, but he doesn't use a lot of the MMA stuff except for obviously the bare feet and the bro mission. But
he used to, but not now.
And if you look at Brock Lesnar at best, his MMA career was like super mediocre. He was like 5-4 and he had a no contest because he tested positive for steroids.
The thing about Lesnar is his collegiate wrestling was just unparalleled.
Oh, I mean, him and Shelton Benjamin in Minnesota were absolutely godly. It was almost unfair. It was crazy to find out that Shelton Benjamin was his coach, because Shelton Benjamin never came off like the guy who could teach Brock Lesnar a thing or two.
Now, it's funny because we've gone from talking about horrorcore to wrestling, and I always love bringing up this comparison. Independent wrestlers and horrorcore rappers are pretty much the same animal.
Yes, especially based on all the independent wrestlers I know. Absolutely.
I mean, you guys got to set up your merch booth. You got to sell yourself, which is so fucking difficult. Like, in a case of being a rapper, I guess it's a little bit easier because, bravado is built into what you do. But like in my situation, I have to be like, hey, do you want to listen to me talk about bullshit for 45 minutes?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, though.
Well, I don't want to interrupt your little SmackDown, SummerSlam, Havoc thing that you guys got going on here. But, with all the wrestling, and you mentioned Brock Lesnar, and he did have that Olympic career. The Olympics are going on right now.
That was Kurt Angle. Brock never actually.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Yeah, that was with a broken fucking neck.
Yeah. I actually watched that match. It was insane.
Oh, Kurt. That guy did more Percocets than there are to do.
Christ.
Well, and with everything you mentioned drugs, I know I haven't watched the Olympics this year, and honestly, I don't know how much I care anymore. Because it's just more about trash. I've noticed we've had the incident with the THC getting somebody dismissed. It's just been a whole nightmare.
Are we still making that argument that weed is a performance enhancing drug? Because unless you're playing Dungeons and Dragons, no, it's not.
UFC
I don't know.
Enhancer, except for in Texas, because apparently they're not kind about it. But if people who are physically beating the dog shit out of each other for millions of dollars are like, well, it's not helping them here, there's no way it's helping a track star. Are you kidding me?
Exactly. It just doesn't make any sense. I
don't know what sport makes you go slower. Slower reaction time is better. Not really being able to focus on a fist flying at your face is somehow better. I'm not really sure where they're getting this stuff from.
Yeah, that doesn't get any sense. And then the other thing is, since we're on this topic, I guess we'll talk about it. What they're doing to Simone Biles, or whatever, however fuck you pronounce her name, that's pretty fucked up. How are you going to tell someone that you're so good that it's unfair for regular people to compete against you?
That was the most bonkers story. I read through that. I was like, wait. She's too good to. I thought the point was to be too good. Like, you win. That's Michael Phelps was the best. He won. That was the point. Hold on.
I've got a better one for you. Where was this thought process when the Dream Team was literally mopping the floor with the entire planet?
Yeah, I mean, I thought that was the.
Could you imagine if you'd told David Robinson and Michael Jordan, you guys are too good, you can't compete?
Like, okay, listen, you guys can play, but you have to rotate. Only one of you on the court at a time. It's not fair.
Won.
They still probably would have won.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, when you're playing against tiny little other countries and you're a giant fucking American athlete, like it just, I don't know, man. The whole thought process, I'm like, I don't want to start being all virtue signally or anything, but the fact that she's black and a woman, doesn't this just smell like shit?
Well, it's the same thing with the sprinter they threw out. She was also a black woman, and
yeah, exactly.
She had therapeutically smoked after her mother's funeral. Like, for fuck's sake.
Exactly. If there's ever a time that you can smoke weed, it's when your mom dies.
Right? And I mean, the other things with Simone Biles is they described the shit she has called the twisties, where she's so fucked up from all of the stress put on her that she doesn't know her spatial displacement when she's flipping. That's fucking dangerous, man. That's the kind of stress these people are putting on her.
Well, and also they said that if other women attempted the moves she can do, they could face permanent injury or death. Well, then, okay, then that means they guarantee that they're competing for second fucking place. Give her the gold, you know?
Yeah. It's not the first time. I mean, the Russians were doping for 20 years, and they weren't like, hold on, guys. Hold on, fucking horse tranquilizers and your steroids and your fucking ketamine. I mean, there's Russians in the Olympics this year playing under the Russian Olympic Committee instead of the Russian flag, who have been convicted of doping. And there's swimmers calling it out like, okay, I just lost to a guy who's, you know, injecting 100 milliliters into his ass when we're done swimming.
I love watching the after effects of all the drugs they do, and like their balls are all shriveled up, and they started to develop tits, and it's the, you know, they didn't want to be transgender, but now look at them.
Have you seen
Brutus? Might want to watch your like Pornhub search.
Who?
Brutus Beefcake. I saw him.
Oh my God, I seen him at Astro, like the last one they had, and he was not looking good.
No, he looks like a China doll kind of nowadays.
Yeah, between plastic surgery and steroids, the fact that he's still alive is a miracle of science, I think.
Which gets me, because I wouldn't imagine that man still has the money to afford that. But you know, everyone says he and Hulk Hogan were like gay secret lovers, and Hogan paid.
There's this thing that I believe, like, if one person is kind of famous and the other person is really famous, there's a secret contract you sign where like they're your dependent. Like, I imagine Will Smith collects taxes for DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
You know what I mean? There's just like, I'm pretty sure that Keenan gets to write off Kel.
I mean, the world wrote off Kel. That man was, if he could put it like okay, he was doing it for a while there.
Oh yeah, the same with Nick Cannon. That's something. That's something else. Like, if you're famous, I guess there's this mindset that you have to hold on to it, and there's the stigma of, oh, I can't be a one-hit wonder. Fuck that. Get your money and get away from that shit as fast as you can. Like you were talking about, you had this track with Royce the 5'9" and Webby. Hypothetically, what would happen if one of those was to blow the fuck up and land on regular radio? Ooh, shit. Would that make you any less of a fucking juggalo? Would that make you any less of who or what you've been for 20 fucking years? You know what I mean?
No, I mean, if I changed who I was, first of all, my wife would kick the dog shit out of me. Second, my son would be like, the fuck is wrong with you? And then my mom would like show up and be like, look, I'm gonna fucking whoop your ass.
I mean, the whole family's gonna fuck him up if he tries to change, y'all. Do you hear this? Yeah, you never got to worry about this guy losing touch with his roots.
No, and I would prefer to be in the underground for the rest of my musical career than go anywhere else with it, because the people are so much more genuine.
You're absolutely right. Because it comes from a place of love. There's this weird, unique symbiosis we all fucking have, that majority of us, we all got a sob story. Majority of us, we've all been kicked the fuck around by life a little bit, and we found a way to be better because of this.
See, exactly. And that's so how that sort of works in pretty much all scenes, and it definitely happens. Like, if you were to write a song and then somebody says, hey, I think we could play this and we can make some money. So they do that, and now you have that song blow up, and it's sort of like who was it? Smash Mouth with their Shrek thing. That's what they are now. Sometimes the band.
No, hold on, I've got to cut you off. That cocksucker tried to say that they would have been as big as the Rolling Stones if not for that fucking song. No, bro, you would have been a Southern California ska band like all the other Southern California ska bands, and that would have been the end of you. Now you're fucking famous forever. Enjoy it and shut up.
It would have followed right out the door of popularity.
Right.
Absolutely. And that's sort of the thing that what I was sort of getting at. What happens a lot of times is these people don't necessarily go looking for success. It finds you, and then you end up sort of having this thing happen to you, and it's like, wait, how did I get here? And or like I think it was Sugar Ray. Like if you listen to any of their music besides that one album with that one track that got them huge play in the 90s,
It's
that's
fucking
not
horrible.
what Sugar Ray is. Well, it's not
No.
who they are. And it never was supposed to be. It was just this one track that the radio was like, hey, this is catchy as shit. We're going to use it. And then the mainstream gets a hold of it and suddenly, oh, this is who you are. And you're just like, wait, this isn't who the fuck I am.
Well, also, and I'll say something else. If we all love underground, but there's this mindset. We were talking about the selling out thing. There's this mindset that, you know, if you make money at this in a real way, in some way that isn't, you know, touring, merch, whatever it is we're supposed to do, that you're supposed to want to fucking fail. Like, I know that sounds weird to say, but it's like, I don't want to make it big. I just want to stay here. Living proof of this is Young Wicked, James Garcia himself. Last night just told everyone at a Jelly Roll concert he's now on Jelly Roll's album, and he'll intend to be releasing more adult themed music. You know, he's trying to break out of a mold. Good on him for going for it. If it fucking sucks, you know, you're always still welcome over here, you weird little bastard.
I mean, I think it's great. You know, first of all, I love Jelly, and I think that
he's proof.
Garcia,
he's proof that someone from our scene really can break out. Because
yeah,
like,
you don't
if you think
have
about
to just do this.
If you think about it, Jelly Roll, when he first came out, he was kind of like Little White's dude, and then he was doing his Southern trap shit. But now you could compare Jelly Roll to Post Malone.
Yeah, and I mean that's growth, and it's nothing that's saying Jelly Roll sold out because now he's getting these bigger shows. No, Jelly Roll, he went through the process, he found his voice and who he is, and this is what it is. If a lot of people tend to like it, well, I mean, isn't that kind of the point? Like, you want to connect with people with your art, and I'll put that to our guest here.
I mean, I think Jelly Roll's evolution speaks a lot to the ability of a lot of artists to maintain different types of music simultaneously, like Low Key is doing right now. That dude's releasing all sorts of crazy non-hip-hop stuff right now. Mm-hmm. And he's killing it. I mean, he's not killing it on the Jelly Roll level, but as soon as Jelly Roll kind of found that he had a singing voice and did Same Asshole and just kept following it up with hit after hit, I mean, it's been awesome to see. Like, he's talking about how he's, you know, making a better life for his kids.
Yeah.
As one of the funniest Instagram stories of all fucking time. They're a great couple to watch, and it's great to see somebody excel from pretty much a dead stop and just run through. I hope somebody like Mercules is able to do the same thing. Like, Merc has been pretty well up there, but I feel like his potential.
He definitely has potential to be another one of those ones that just pops on the regular scene.
As long as it's not Cryptic fucking Wisdom, I'm okay with it. Hi, Dave. Nice to see you.
I love when people want to call out people on our show. It always makes me happy. If anybody ever wants to use our shit as a platform to talk shit about people, I'm for it. And that's something else. We were talking about this steel sharpens steel. Everybody working with more and more talented people, working to make yourself better instead of just dropping the same shit you did the last time.
It needs to happen.
Stagnant.
I think one person who could probably snap off and sharpen a whole lot of people, Nasty, man. Nasty is one of the people who, at any given time, if you piss off Nasty, you are not going to like what's coming back.
No, and I love Lil Brother, but he has such a confidence issue in himself, and it bugs me sometimes because I'm like, dude, you sing, you write, you fucking you know the engineer side. You're a fucking legitimate sound man, and I feel like he's afraid that people are really not going to ride with him. And if you've built up a hard enough fan base, we'll stick with you, bro, no matter what you make.
Hell yeah, and I mean, he engineered the song he and I did with Kung Fu Vampire, and I think it's the cleanest thing that I've ever heard.
That's another dude that's ridiculously talented.
And he's evolved too. He doesn't just wear the white paint anymore and the fucking kimono or whatever the hell that thing
The
was.
bald
Back.
head, yeah.
That was actually how I got introduced to him. Was the full on fucking finger armor, bald head, pointy beard.
You know,
gimmick.
I'm not even gonna lie. That was the first time I'd seen him. It was down in a show in Kentucky somewhere. He was opening for Twisted, and I saw like he was playing when we showed up, and I was just like, Kung Fu Vampire? Why does this sounds like some cheesy shit? And then I see him bald headed, pale white, like looking like Nosferatu motherfucker. But now I like it. I like his evolution. I was like, I sort of ignored it for a while, and then some of his newer stuffs came out, and I can't remember the name of the track he did with Twisted a while back. I really dug, but his evolution is insane. Like it's
if you want to hear one of the best tracks he's ever done with anybody, I'm a Ghost with Blaze is the perfect example of a Kung Fu Vampire track.
That track is awesome. I think the song with Twisted was Duality.
Yes, it was.
Yes. Thank you.
I like his transformation to like, I kind of call him Neon Miami Vice now.
Yeah.
Yeah. With
He's
his
the
hair standing way up.
Ever worked with in music, and I've known him since like 2006, who I don't know what the fuck his real name is.
No, I have no clue. No clue at all. It's the gimmick. That's what he lives. So what about your evolution? Where do you see yourself from where you started to where you are now?
I don't know. I feel like I look the part now because I used to have like the bangs and all that shit, and it was kind of a weird look. And then I left music for 10 years because my ex-wife was a nut job and was like, "Oh, you're doing too much," because we'd just done the Sickology tour with Tech, and she was like, "You know, it's time for you to sit at home and be under my control for the next 10 years." But and that led me to a lot of like internal self-loathing, and I was able to find myself better and able to relay what I needed to say better, and it helped me with my lyricism a little bit, because before it was mostly just like quasi dark shit, but it didn't always make sense. But in talking to like Nasty and Saint, who are the two people I ask for feedback most, I'm just finding myself writing more relevant stuff. Like me and Gruesome dropped most of a track with Whitney Payton on YouTube, and
She's thought that bad motherfucker too.
Oh, dude, she scares the hell out of me. I feel like she would beat the dog shit out of me, and I'm 6'5", man. That woman.
You gotta love them girls that can fight.
Yeah. I mean, I would be hiding behind my wife, who's all of like 130 pounds. I'm like, here, baby, you go handle her. I don't want none of that. But it's in internal kind of contemplation leads you to a lot better places than just sitting there with a notepad. Like, the fuck am I going to talk about now?
Right.
And life experience gets you there. I mean, when I left rap, I had no kids. Now I've got 4. And now I'm like, shit, they're going to try to listen to this one day. What can I put in here safely? Then there's my 12-year-old like, you should talk about killing people. And I'm like, fuck.
Well, that's something else though. Like horrorcore is a lot of the murder track. It is a lot of the, I'm going to stalk you and I'm going to kill you. But there's a lot of really good horrorcore that is about the internal struggle of just you versus your fucking self. You know what I mean?
Like a lot of what Gino did was that internal struggle. Nobody.
Rest in peace, Gino. Fucking cool shit, man. That was. I'm upset with myself that I missed out on him. I found out about him afterward.
Oh man, Gino was a good dude. Like, he was someone you could sit down and talk to for hours, because his brain was always full motion, full speed. He always had a thought, and he always knew how to relate, and he could just draw you in. Like, he didn't even have to be talking about something specific, but you'd be sitting there at the table like, holy fuck, this man just blew my mind, and I have no idea what we're talking about. He is a great guy, and that Damian Quinn has been able to carry on that legacy is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, good on him for being able to run with that. Because a lot of guys, that could have been just the end of you.
I imagine for him, like in the beginning, that was probably harder than hell.
Yeah. I mean, that's something that where you really don't have to worry about that, because you really aren't really a group artist. You kind of do the solo shit. Like you said, you have your Stasis X project, but so is there any more solo shit from you coming in the future?
I'm mostly done with Storytelling and Hate Music, which has the Fams and the Hooligans on it. Sky Swamp Orange, Whitney Payton's in there, Insane Poetry, Project Born. I've been slacking on that a lot because I bounce back and forth. I'm working on like 5 projects simultaneously. And then
like I said, man of many hats.
Yeah. I mean, I like to stay busy. You know, most nights I don't go to sleep until 3 a.m. and I wake up at 6:30, take the kids to camp and school. That's going to be a fun one that I'm doing, a one called Time Slip, where I'm using my old name and a bit of my old style, a bit more lyricism to it and less darkness, because I was a smart ass back in the day. I'm sure people wanted to slap the dog shit out of me. But I'm bringing back more of that because a lot of the guys on my label were like, dude, do more boom bap stuff. Go and be the asshole you were in 2009. I was like, all right, I'll do it for an album. Why the fuck not?
Right. And that sounds like it would be a project for you than less than more what you care about what your fans think. And when you make music for yourself, that's when you always find the real gems.
Yeah, I think that's what Saint Sinner did on the Gut Bucket Dichotomy. That album was absolutely incredible.
Oh, great fucking album.
And he did it fantastically. I love that album.
There are so many ridiculously talented people in this scene right now, and they're all either about to make new music or release new music, and I couldn't be fucking happier.
Oh, I know. I kind of sit back and watch release dates pop up, and I'm like, this is a beautiful fucking time right now for music. Like, I feel bad that I didn't know Cody Manson until like maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah, actually, if you would like to hear Cody's story, you can check him out on our YouTube channel. We had an interview with him, and that was cool. He informed us how long he'd actually been in the game, and I did not fucking know it, because another one of those guys, you know, wrapped under a different name at a different time.
Look at you doing a callback.
I have a fucking memory. It's in here. I haven't smoked it all away.
And he's a genuinely good dude. Like, I've got him on a track with me, Gruesome, and Billy Obey that I think is a fucking banger. And he's talented multiple ways too, because he makes those fucking sparkly chains that everyone's got, and I've got 3 of them in my office, and I was like, I don't know how you do this, but it's fucking awesome.
I've got 2 on the way, a personal one for myself with my logo, and another one shouting out the Catacombs. Shout out to homie Cam Salimi. We love you, Cam. We love you, Luke.
I feel like I should be wearing my Catacombs shirt right now. I feel kind of like a schmuck wearing Pink Floyd.
I mean, you can't see what I'm wearing because it doesn't matter.
I'm over here in Dark Side of the Moon shit, talking about underground hip hop. Like, yep, this works.
Fuck it. That's the thing though. Who's to ever tell you what is and isn't underground hip hop? What is and isn't horrorcore? That's where you start getting into the stupid parts of this, where people that's where you'll see the gatekeeping, and that's where you'll see the unseemly side of this, where this thing that we all love. And unfortunately, there is a fucking unseemly side, and I don't want to be a part of that anymore. And this also is I'm tired of being around juggalos whose only personality is I'm a dirty scrub.
That's a really weird way to call out Ryder Name Bags, wherever the fuck that guy's name is. He told people I tried to steal his group and he fired me, and I was like, what the flying fuck are you talking about? I don't even know who the hell you are. Which, at the very least, chuckled at. But the Catacombs is like one of those groups where everybody in there is a fucking dope human being.
Well, it's coming from the idea of, hey, this is something that if we all work together, we can really fucking make something powerful again.
And it's beautiful, because if you think like the last big movement similar to that would have been Mission Infect, because there was so many supporters. But Cat supports so many different artists simultaneously that it's fantastic. Like, I love seeing Keegan Grimm's name come up more. That man is one of the most old.
Sure. Keegan Grimm has the most charismatic voice I've heard in a very long time.
I mean, I didn't realize until a couple days ago when I was listening to the acapellas he sent me for a track with Intrinsic that he sings too. I was like, holy shit. What the fuck?
Beautifully. For the way he sounds. It's so fucking beautiful. And I would also like to shout out, when you mosh with him, it's like getting hit by a train.
I mean, he looks like the kind of guy you would want to mosh with, man.
Bro, when he hit me, I seriously thought that a stone wall had fell on me. I didn't fall down, but it definitely knocked me back. Holy fucking shit. Because he's kind of a shorter dude, so I wasn't expecting him to be as stout as he is.
See, I've never met him, but I feel like he should be like 7 feet tall, because he's got that like aura about him. He looks like somebody who will like kill his neighbor's dog for barking at him in the middle of the night.
And the thing is he's a teddy bear. Oh man.
You know, I do want to point out just, and that goes back to the whole creating a scene thing. I think the Catacombs is a great thing for our community. It's sort of reminiscent of back in when other scenes would start in the 70s, you'd go to the bar and you didn't have the internet. So how did you find these things? Well, somebody told me, because I just ran into them over here, and you just sort of, things got disseminated that way. And the Catacombs really gives some people a place to put out that information and get it out there, because, if only your timeline is getting it, or if you're going to these different sites, a lot of them you can't even post about your own stuff, because everybody, well, this is my space, you can't talk, not that space, but you can't talk about those things because this is about me and this is about my clique. You can't share information. So I like that the Catacombs is able to give everybody that voice, so everybody knows, hey, this show's going on, we should go there, because without that, if there's no show.
The hope is that it'll be like the old horrorcore forums without all the bullying.
Oh, so you're not going to let Erica in? Erica, I love you. Kill me, please. You're a fucking those forums, though, you know it.
And that's the other thing, though. I do want to sort of touch on this, because we talked about, we do want to have a place, that everybody can come to and do all these great things, and we don't want to have that bullying. And I think the tricky part is, because for some reason, you're part of this, Jew.
Oh, I'm being called out. Continue.
Well, Juggalos just, not maybe this so much just directly pushing buttons, but it seems to be that's the thing. Like, I'm going to go into this comment section just to cause problems.
Oh, we were the first trolls. I don't care what anyone wants to say. We were the first trolls.
I don't know. I think maybe Paul and the Beatles may have been the first trolls, worldwide level.
Yeah, but you're talking about like fucking some shit that had never been done. I'm talking about internet trolls. But either way, neither here nor there.
Absolutely. But we are talking about the internet, so I do want to take this opportunity real quick here. Where can they follow you on social media? Instagram, which I guess is changing now, but where can they find you out there in the wide world of the internet?
Spotify, Facebook. I have an Instagram. I think it's King X Torch. I don't remember what my Instagram is. It's all like 100% posting. I had to go back and delete like 1,000 things because I kept getting like notifications. Oh, this goes against our terms, blah, blah, blah. Well, you're a bunch of dicks with no sense of humor.
None whatsoever. Mark Zuckerberg sucks dick with his butthole.
I'm not going to disagree even in the slightest. For somebody with that much money, I mean, at least he doesn't do what that McAfee guy did, the McAfee antivirus guy, and let like Filipino women sit on hammocks and shit on his chest.
No, I'm kind of bummed that his whole cachet was bullshit and it didn't get released like everyone said it was going to.
Oh, McAfee?
Yeah. Supposedly he had a file on his computer that if he had ever disappeared or suicided himself, that on a certain date in I think it was July, that it was going to release and it was going to have all the shit on it. And I was like, oh, finally a whistleblower who even in death will be able to perform something useful. But no, again,
they unplugged the computer.
Virus scan shit.
So I guess I only have a few more questions I want to ask. So what do you think you could tell someone who's trying to get involved in the horrorcore scene right now? Like, what are some tips you could give them to keep them from fucking up, as it were?
One of the biggest ones is don't be an asshole. I mean, you were
the fifth person to say that one.
Thank God. Typically, if you show respect, you get it. Like, there's a lot of guys I've known for a long time who I had respect from then, but now there's a whole new group of artists who are really cool fucking people. I didn't know Keegan Grimm until about 1.5 years ago, and he's one of my favorite people. And it's all about being respectful. If you show it, you get it. Typically, I mean, there's people out there who don't give a fuck, but I'm not going to name any names. Mrs. Nasty. No, I'm kidding. Don't kill me.
She will too.
You are going to get stabbed.
I absolutely am. I have her playing cards in my garage from our wedding, and she is knifey wifey, and in the picture she's stabbing Nasty. I mean, be respectful, focus on yourself, have confidence, and don't really worry too much about what other people think about what you're doing, because the more you worry about other people's bullshit, the less you're focused on bettering yourself.
Good shit. I like that. It's so hard to keep your focus narrowed if you're looking at what that guy's doing and what that guy's doing. It's not a stay in your lane situation, but it's know what you can do. Like you said, be confident in yourself.
Yeah, like other people will release bomb ass music that's going to be better than yours. It's
just gonna happen.
Yeah, it's exactly like every time I see a release date for something, I'm like, damn, I can't wait to hear that. And that's the attitude more artists need to have. Like, damn, I can't wait for them to outdo me. No, cheer on your fellow fucking musicians. Support them. Buy them. I've got a whole closet. My whole closet is underground merch because it's a bunch of black T-shirts with band logos, and I fucking love it.
Yup. I've run out of hangers again.
Well, then I've got the section on the left, which is like the 9 variations of the Axe shirt when they released the big emblem one, and like by the way, one in each color for like $10 a piece, and I was like, well, don't mind
why not buy all of it? And that's something else. If you really make it in this fucking scene, I don't want to talk bad about us, but we're fucking ATMs. If we like your shit, we will buy almost everything you fucking make. Period.
The only Fams and the Hooligans merchandise I don't have is the new Kamikaze stuff.
Yep, I haven't got any yet. I want to. I also, if you happen to be listening, fans, I want one of them fucking D&D edition fucking Capri jackets, man. The ones that got the 2 and the 6 splits. Those are so fresh, and I want one.
Those are fucking dope as shit. And Fams' lady makes a lot of really dope shit too.
Yes, everybody out there is killing it on the merch game.
And Fam says, just go ahead and give him your money, and you can get whatever you like.
That's the catchphrase. Fam says, "Give me your money."
And I love giving Fams my money. I don't even care if it's for nothing now. I'll be like, Fams, here's $20. I love it.
I don't feel, and that's how you can tell someone really fucks with you. In this situation where everybody is Spotifying and everybody is thising and thatting, if someone pays you for your fucking music, like for a hard copy of your shit, they genuinely fuck with you.
And the great thing is with the 2 and the 6, if you want a different flavor, just pop one out of the CD player, pop the other one in. It's beautiful.
Well, I think we've pretty much gotten to what we want to accomplish today. This has been a great ass conversation, and if you ever want to be on again, please hit me up.
Well, don't leave me out of this conversation, because I do have one thing that I do have to find out, because I've been thinking about this actually for a while now, and this is pretty important.
Okay.
So, if you were invited to a dinner with 3 of the biggest names in hip hop, what would you order for dessert?
God, I hate you.
I love you.
I don't know the nearest Cold Stone Creamery, because that place smacks. Jesus, for dessert, man, brownie with a scoop of ice cream on top, some whipped cream, cherry. I'd probably just throw the cherry at somebody because I don't fucking eat them. But brownies, man, always brownies.
Always brownies. Very, 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 very go-to. Simple, not a decadent, not a whole lot of work. Are you happy you got to ask your dumb fucking question?
I absolutely am ecstatic. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and hanging out with us. This is going to be a little bit longer one. We appreciate you guys hanging out, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Make sure you're tuning in. Subscribe, like, do all those things. Let your friends know we're here too.
Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, all kinds of fucking places that you listen to podcasts, you can fucking find us. So if you do like us and you're not watching, fuck you, find us.
And like, you can talk to us because like we're real people.
I'm real. I've said it over and over again. I can't wait to argue with you in the comment section.
Yeah, he will tell you to fuck off in person live.
Maybe that's what I do when we finally make it big. I'll just do little cameos for like $50. I just tell you to eat a dick. This has been Pics or It Didn't Happen. I am the Jew. This was the Yeti. King Torch, thank you for fucking joining us. Next time, motherfuckers. Next time.
Peace.